In the 1980s, WHP saw big changes in the utilization of technology to deliver the news. At the start of the decade, WHP still used film, and we were just starting to make the transition to videotape. News was shot in the field on 16mm film and brought back to the station where it was developed. The process was messy, and sometimes things would go wrong, and the entire day's worth of stories would be lost, leaving the news department scrambling to find file film to put in the broadcast. The switch to videotape happened in the early 80s, making the production more efficient. It was cheaper, could be reused, was portable, could be aired immediately after recording, and it could be edited in the field. And in just 10 years, WHP changed from using film, like in a movie theater, to the more modern tape, improving quality and reliability. TV graphics in the early 1980s ranged from very primitive to very elaborate. 35mm slides were used to broadcast still images and station graphics. Elaborate graphics were usually things like the station logo, network or sponsor graphics, and animated effects that were created by a production company that used equipment and processes that were too expensive for individual TV stations to do on their own. WHP employed a team of artists who created hand-drawn and physically photoshopped images. By the end of the 1980s, computers would replace all these techniques and would allow WHP to create graphics quicker and cheaper. The teleprompter was a physical machine that fed paper along a track and had its own mounted camera, which allowed anchors to read their scripts without the need to glance down at a paper. And by the end of the decade, that job too was handed over to a computer, allowing real-time edits to the show's script, enabling seamless integration of breaking news. In 1985, WHP got its first live truck. A live truck had the capabilities to transmit live video and audio back to the station without the need of a dedicated phone line. The new live trucks used point-to-point microwave radios to transmit the video from the truck back to the station. With this, news became a race to see who could get the story first. Weather graphics were as primitive as they could get early on. The weather map was a metal board with magnetic shapes and words that the meteorologists would arrange every day to present the forecast on air. Meteorologists would take reports from a wire service provided by the National Weather Service. By the end of the 1980s, computers would be responsible for generating all weather graphics, making them interactive. Clouds, storms, and temperatures could now be overlaid on various maps. TV stations could invest in their own Doppler radars rather than just relying on the National Weather Service. From 1953 until the early 1980s, WHP presented news in almost the same way with the same look and format. In 10 short years, technology would transform WHP News to the modern format that is recognizable today.